I'm Melissa Chartrand. I'm here with Amy Neal, Director of Education from the Cultural Center of Cape Cod, located in Yarmouth, Massachusetts. Thrilled to have you here today, Amy.
Thank you.
We could spend the entire time of this segment just having you list off what goes on at the Cultural Center without talking about anything else. It is such a happening place.
It is. We have 1,500 events a year happening, which on average to the day is about 4 different kinds of everything happening all at once. So we're very busy.
Yes, I would say so. And let's have an overview of the center. The history is quite interesting and where it is today.
Yeah, it all started with the Bass River Savings Bank. It was the beautiful building was built in 1930. And it was a working, functioning bank for over 50 years. And in the early 80s, they got bought out, like lots of banks do. And this beautiful, solid building just sat vacant in this neighborhood. And this neighborhood got together. They had this vision of what they wanted it to be. So they formed a nonprofit called the Cultural Center of Cape Cod. And there was a wealthy neighbor in the neighborhood.
That's always helpful.
Yes. Who purchased the bank and donated it to this newly formed nonprofit. So right off the bat, it was like a miracle the way it started. And the building was just in shambles because it was about 20 years with just vacant. So there were raccoons living in the building. There was a hole in the roof. People still come in and tell me that they walked in the building and they couldn't even breathe because the air quality was so terrible. And we had a quote for $2.3 million to restore the building, and they just started making flyers and going door to door, asking for donations to restore this project.
So really the community is very behind the center.
It's absolutely
and there's
the
good
community.
reason why, because as you say, so much happens there. And this is where, you know, everything, music, theater, arts.
Exactly, yeah. It's like the heartbeat of the neighborhood and beyond, you know, to the rest of the Cape. So we ended up opening our doors in 2007. We finished the project at $750,000, which was 1/3 of the original estimate of $2.3 million. And we've been
going ever
since. And just about immediately, our programming just took off, and we just, you know, with art exhibits and concerts and classes and everything that happens in between. We found a need that we wanted more space.
Sure.
So we had another building that was next to the bank, to the new Cultural Center, and that was known as the Owl Club. And the Owl Club was a men's club in town where these guys would do lots of good things for the community, raising money. And it was just like the bank. It was abandoned and a shack.
It was like a sign, here you go, it's right on the campus.
Yes. So a capital campaign was started, and we did it. We raised the money. It was 1/3 through the state, 1/3 through the town of Yarmouth, and 1/3 private donations. And the education wing opened its doors in 2016 in January.
So and a lot goes on there. Everything from artists in residence that have studios, not living but workspace. You have big open community rooms.
Yeah. So we now have additional space for events and classes. We have a full commercial kitchen. We have a pottery studio, a recording studio, a photography and digital art studio, and we have a mentor studio because we have a program where we work with at-risk youth on the Cape, and we want to have a space for them to come in and work. And then we have our 5 artist residence studios where they just come in and they work out of their space and they also teach.
So again, it goes on and on and on.
It does.
Now your role as Director of Education, your background, what led you and attracted you to this position?
Yeah, I went to art school. I started as a photographer. I studied at the museum school where they really encourage you to try different mediums. I tried stained glass, I did painting and drawing and a little bit of film, and I'm still pretty much the same way. I'm all over the place when it comes to art. I love working with my hands, and just I'm a serial class taker myself, so it's kind of perfect. If I want to take a calligraphy class, then I'll find a calligraphy teacher and make that happen.
That's wonderful.
It's a little bit of that, but yeah, I've just been working as an artist for all these years, working in nonprofit on Cape Cod since 2010, and I met Bob and Lauren at a fundraiser back in 2015.
Right, and there you go. And they're the director and associate director of the Cultural Center.
Yes.
And now with, as you say, education in this whole new wing and the different types of program, talk a little bit about the culinary or the pottery and how that works. If I could come and want to take a class or be involved.
Yeah, the culinary classes are a lot of fun because it's just it's a one-off class. It's just a one night. It's not a long-term commitment, and we hear people in there cracking up laughing all the time, eating amazing food. Our chef is world-class. He's super knowledgeable and teaches everybody about whatever the cuisine is, the recipes, where they come from, their origins. He pairs wine. He's great.
That's my kind of class.
Yes, and then I know. And we also do private classes for that. So if you have a group of friends and you want to come in and just have your own cooking class, we do a ton of those too. So people love that. A lot of the other classes are, 6 weeks long, 3 weeks long. They're a little bit more of a commitment. We have weekend workshops as well. Our pottery studio is a 6-week-long class. We have wheel throwing, we have slab building, we have hand building, and we're also going to be adding like a one-off class with pottery where you can come in just one night and paint and drink wine and have fun and,
Lots of options, I would say. Not only those classes, I'm also sensing that if someone had an idea for a class, they certainly could reach out to you to say, hey, we'd love to.
I get that all the time.
Although you have so much to offer, I really can't imagine. And again, in addition to the education wing, as you said, you have art exhibits. It being a bank, you have a room called the Vault. I mean, the ceilings, the facility itself is beautiful. I know that people can rent, as you say, if you want to rent out the space for a party or what have you. Where can our viewers get information on this happening place, which is open year-round, I might add?
It is, yes. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, our website is cultural-center.org, and that's the #1 place to get everything that's most current, because we have a newsletter that comes out every month, but we have so much happening all the time. We're literally adding programming, events every single day.
Right.
So,
so much. Again, everything from you can go for a concert or a class or just to take a look around. You have a wonderful gift shop.
We do.
As well. And before we go, I do want to mention that you have a cafe.
We have a cafe in the summertime, yes. So from Thursdays to Saturdays in the mornings from about 9 to noon, you can come and get coffee and pastries. We have a beautiful patio. People jump onto our Wi-Fi and just hang out, and it's another reason to come and visit and just be part of everything happening there.
Absolutely. Well, Amy, thank you so much for sharing
Thank you.
all about the Cultural Center. It is a wonderful place.
Thank you.
For Amy Neal, let's try that again. Oh my goodness. For Amy Neal, Director of Education at the Cultural Center of Cape Cod, I'm Melissa Chartrand, wishing you an artful day.